Are we live? Are we live? I think we're live. Hello, welcome back to my channel. My name is Dan, the Mexican. I do videos of gaming. I'm starting to do videos of me doing reviews and stuff like that. Now I got a better camera and stuff, because before I was able to do gaming just with screen capture. But now I have an actual camera, which I now realised has terrible quality and definition. So we'll have to buy another camera. But that's in good time, because things cost money. Today, however, I will be reviewing Marvel's latest in its slew of just kick-ass badassery across the board. And I know people are like, oh, there's comic book fatigue. No, there isn't. And if you can go to these movies and sit there, even in the worst one, and go, this is terrible, not fun, not entertaining, weak, or anything of the sort, with the exception of maybe Thor 2. I would say that maybe the movies aren't the problem, and there's things in your life that's making it possible for you to actually find good things good. So sort that out, seek help. But the latest might be possibly the greatest, if not up there in the top three. It's debate whether the top three is Civil War or Ragnarok is in the top three. Which one takes that spot? But or some people are like, I actually just like the first Avengers. Other people say it's Iron Man. So it depends. But there's a guarantee that Winter Soldier is 100% up there. As sorry, I have my cap on, so the light, the way I have it in my house, it's gonna go right in my eyes. But then again, if I put it too low, then you can't see my face. Not that you really need to see my face, because it's extremely generic. See? It's not much there. I don't know where the camera is in regards to my eye line and looking, because I can't. Every time I look at the camera, I'm not looking at the screen, and every time I look at the screen, I'm not looking at the fucking camera. So I don't know. Anyway, wasn't supposed to curse. That was an accident. Nevertheless, I hope that's the 1 or 2 Fs I get that like for free in the videos. Regardless, it might be one of the best movies out there, the reason of the Marvel Cinematic Universe, and the reason why is something very simple. It did what Winter Soldier was able to do, maybe to a bigger extent, which is you take a film, a good film, with plot, premise, characters, and relatability to just shit in general, and then you wrap it in a genre. So instead of comic movies being comic movies, and here's how you do a comic movie, this is a genre movie we've wrapped in a comic book film. Civil War was absolutely like that. It's a thriller. It's a espionage kind of thriller movie, and it's brilliant. Wrapped in a comic book movie. This is a political thriller wrapped in a comic book movie. And the thing that this has for it, which I feel puts it a bit above Civil War, is it has 3 things. There's the movie wrapped in the comic book movie. That's 2. Civil War has that as well. But this has something that Thor has, which is whatever Thor movie it is, plus it just exudes this essence of metal. Like there's something about, and it's not just to do with the fact that Led Zeppelin's in it, because I wouldn't really class Led Zeppelin as metal. But what the fuck is this? Metal. But realistically, that movie just oozes metal. It's fucking great. Like the amount of F again. My God, the amount of scenes in Thor that's like, that's an album cover for a metal album. That's a cover for a metal album. That's a cover for a metal album. The scene where he's like trying to get the Bifrost and he's like flying through with his hammer. Like, 1 second. He's flying through with his hammer and he's like, oh, look at the Bifrost, I'm down there. And then there's like the dragon behind him. I don't have a toy dragon, sorry. I have to get a dragon. Okay. That's just that shot of the sunset. I don't know, but it's a planet of molten rock, anything, and it's really cool horizon in the background. These kind of Nevada kind of style rocks and stuff. What's the word? Terrain. Almost hit something. And then you have Thor. No, because the screen's the opposite way around. You have Thor, and then you have the dragon. No, I can't with the hands. It was like playing Connect. And they're basically the two of them. It's all in one shot. With Thor, the dragon's like about to open up, and Thor's just Jesus, and it's all like kind of glowed out by a bit of the horizon in the background. It's a beautiful shot. It's like that's a vinyl cover for a metal album. It's fantastic. It exudes this in multiple moments in the film. Black Panther exudes, and I mean just it doesn't exude. It radiates. Its natural presence is fucking cool. Just smooth cool. Like just ain't no thing. This is cool. Like there's just some kind of, I want to say, not just confidence, but owning of who they are in their own skin, of all the characters, but not just the characters, the plot, the world, the relationships, the demeanor of them. In the same way that Thor exudes metal, this exudes just fucking just cool, man, cool. And I love that about that. I love when films have their own personality as well as the film itself and the personalities of the characters in the film. What I really like about this is, well, not what I really like about it, because I like lots of things about it, but what I've noticed about this is lots of people have had their opinions. I've listened to a lot of people's opinions, a lot of reviews and stuff. I don't think they get it. I'm not saying I get it and haha, I see what you don't see. Maybe it is art. So at the end of the day, it is subjective as F. I'm trying to get this centered because I'm a stickler for centering things. Even though I'm not centered, but I have to be able to show Darth. God, this reversing of the camera thing is really awkward. I can't get the angle right. There you go, Darth Vader. God, well, I can't do anything in a mirror world, clearly. But which is strange, because I can write coffee. If you can look at the chocolate and the foam there. It's going to get this camera. Where is it? There you go. So, I lick that. I make these coffees at home. By myself. Nope. There we go. Make these coffees at home. And I drown them in thick foam and chocolate syrup, chocolate powder. That's Cadbury's. Cadbury's or don't bother. In the words of Joey Diaz, cursing, 3, 2, 1. Whatever it is that you like, or go fuck your mother. And that's Cadbury's. So Cadbury's or go fuck your mother, alright? You got a problem with that statement? That ideology? Take it up with Joey Diaz. Joey Karate. If you don't know who I'm talking about, just Google Joey Diaz and you'll find out that guy pretty quick. He's a D-slinging Cuban. Like a doctor. But listen. I don't know much about people and how it feels to be an American right now in America. I can see it as an onlooker and go, and I thought my country was fucking weird. Or I thought my politicians were odd fuckers. But Jesus, like the reality show of the dog and pony show that is American politics, is both flabbergastingly humorous in a nonsensical level, and at the same time extremely worrying and creepy. But all in all, it's balanced out with this too shall pass, so it's fine. But I've heard a lot of people making kind of points about the left and the right wing, and that Wakanda is kind of broken up to the people who want to be 100%, peace and safety and keep Wakanda to Wakanda and all these kind of things, and then the others are very no. Tell the world who we are, show them that we don't have to fear shit, so we don't have to sit down in silence. And I mean, what started was, we can't trust other people with this power, where it's got to the stage of now we're just afraid to even come out to them. We've gotten too much in our hovel. And that is essentially the kind of warring ideologies between Black Panther and Jeez, my brain. Killmonger. I didn't see that as a part of the movie. Like, I got that as a movie, but I didn't see that as the message. I didn't see, we're making a movie that relates right now to people in America and American politics. I mean, I can easily be wrong, but I greatly doubt that even entered into the head during the creation process. Maybe after the fact, of course, but especially from opinions of other people. But I don't think that was a mandate of something that was in one of the writers or the creators or Ryan Coogler's brain of, oh, this is something I want to get across. What I got was the resounding message in this movie is unity. Unity for the greater good. For the greater cause, despite worries and possible problems. You can't stop progress and progression. You can't stop progress and the possibility of a unified future based on the idea that some bad eggs can spoil a batch. That's very like narrow-minded thinking. Even the phrase itself makes no sense. A few bad eggs spoil the batch. Or you take two batches that have some bad eggs in them, you take the bad eggs out, and then you get the rest of the good ones into a one batch. And there you go, you got a batch of good eggs. It's not like crazy philosophical nonsense. It's pretty much straightforward shit. Oh, we all agree that this is basic and common and we should do these things? Cool. If you don't count. You don't get a say. I mean, we do that to the extent of pedophilia, rape, like murder, straight up murder, but murder's tricky. Although I believe that, you know, I don't believe it in the sense of, oh no, only God gets to choose. I don't know. But I do believe that if you're at a point where it's not to do with the survival of yourself, in that moment there and then, or someone you love is like, because you're about to get screwed over or murdered or whatever, except for one of those situations, the idea that we can deem that another person should die preemptively, the arrogance that a human being gets to make that decision, that a human being knows enough about the world and about other people to just make a premeditated decision about whether someone's life is worthy or not, I think is a fallacy, and it's just a myopic way of being in at the same time. It's myopic and it's extremely clustered and very stuffy with narcissism. And those things are hard to kind of beat down and chip away at. That's why I think that whole idea should never really be sat upon. This movie is very, very much the truth about something we all hope for. And it's not neo-politics, it's every person, every culture, every race, which, by the way, I don't buy into that term. Like, black people are race, white people are race, Chinese people are Asian people are races, Mexican, Latin race. The race is Homo sapien. That's the race. The race is Homo sapien. Everything else is, and you're gonna go, oh no, I can't believe he said that trigger because I used a trigger word or whatever. But a white Caucasian person is a breed of the human race of Homo sapien. Now, there might be a word that is kind of relevant to the word breed, but doesn't fall under the same constraints as the word breed. That might be a word that I'm missing. But it's definitely not race. It can't be. It's dumb. Otherwise, the idea of the phrase, the human race, the race of the Homo sapien. Species is hominid. Okay? These are the things we have to, like, cop onto. The species is hominid. That is a bipedal, walking creature that for the most part, more than likely has some type of early sentience, if not full sentience. Apes, all those kind of things. I don't know enough about all that kind of stuff to know if apes still are hominids, but I'm pretty sure they are. But like Neanderthals, 100% hominids. Homo sapiens, Homo erectus, Homo Australopithecus, like these are hominids, Homo. They're in the same sentence together because that's what they are, right? And then the races of those. So the species is hominid, and then the race is Neanderthal, and the race is Homo sapien. It's Stop with that crap, right? I don't like it, and it's weird, and we're all the same, and that's the point. That is the point of this movie. And it's not about are you left, are you right, which is right. It's about all of that stuff makes no sense because it's just your opinion of how you feel about something, but it completely goes against the greater good. And the greater good is progress through unity for the hope of lesser stress for future people. It might be a very vague statement, but sometimes the most simplistic statements make the most amount of sense. And that's what I feel this movie is very, very much about. This particular act is not finalized, but shown to us in the relationship not between Killmonger and Black Panther, but do I call him T'Challa? But he's so much more than just T'Challa. He is the Black Panther. M'Baku. The relationship with M'Baku and Black Panther is fantastic because in regards to the keeping to yourself, keeping to your ways, and not sharing out with people who could mess with your cultures, your technologies, and your arts. That Black Panther's family have kind of had with his father and T'Challa and keeping everything secret in Wakanda, that's actually reflected by M'Baku. So on two different arguments, both people actually hold the same general view, but on different arguments they stand on different sides. So T'Challa is actually more of the Killmonger side in regards to that's how M'Baku would see it, as using modern technologies and modern things and all this kind of stuff to basically be a mirrored or what is a better version of the Western world. M'Baku's idea is the Western world itself is incorrect. But for the sake of the greater good, for the sake of certain things that you don't have to be the same type of people to agree, oh no, let's not do this. We don't do that. Like, we all agree, let's not be pedophiles. Right? We won't have that. We don't like rape. Don't do that. The two of them agree, at least in one aspect. Whatever you see as Wakanda should not be burnt, should not be destroyed. Whether we move and grow out, or whether we stay, or whether we go really rural, doesn't change the fact that we only war and fight at tribal, organized times. Those old days of old battles on the field and that are gone, but even still, they would be organized and kind of have premeditation to them, under some kind of ritualist thing. The more modern stuff and ritual comes from remembering the old school way of the way things just were, and were not necessarily a ritual aspect. But he sees Black Panther. Spoilers, by the way, this is a spoiler as heavy review. He sees Black Panther and he saves him. He brings him back and keeps him there in a coma, hoping that somebody will come and do something. But not to leave him to die and not to kill him, because you don't do that. If a guy's gonna die from the hand of another, he does it awake with the weapon in his hand. And that's the end of it. There are certain things that too much myopic view of a one-sided argument will turn people who agreed with you over the overall concept against you. M'Baku sides with T'Challa to take down, although not at first because he has to save face, but to rise against Killmonger. Oh Jesus! No, it's a cigarette, so fuck it. I wanted to have it so like I could put advertisements and have like if kids want to watch it as well, because that's what the buddy had advertised what it is making it accessible for kids to watch. It was like, don't curse and don't smoke your cigarettes, because those two things, like you can drink your coffee I suppose, but maybe try not to drink beer, although which is fine for me because I don't drink, I can't drink. Not that I can't drink, like I'm incapable of digesting liquids. I can't have alcohol. It sucks. This coffee's too watery. Where's my lid? The chocolate's gone. Pretty much. Yeah, so even though he has to save face, M'Baku sides with him because he's like, oh, cool, well, Killmonger has gone way too far. Way too far. And I can't sit there and say that this movie is any reflection of modern politics, because you cannot, or at least I cannot, when you get to that extreme, side with either side, because it's just they end up eating their own tails. The snake eats, they end up eating themselves, and attacking their own. I don't necessarily disagree with Killmonger. I agree that some of his, like his personal vendetta solving, that's promoting an extra, viciousness to it, is obviously fucked up. But at the same time, his overall basic idea of what are you doing hiding? What the hell? Like, he says this one thing where he's like, that I didn't understand until, like, this line was said. Like, if Wakanda is a nation that's powerful enough to be on the main stage, then when people have an inherent origin of country that represents them and stands for them, their treatment in other westernized modern countries becomes a lot more fair and not monitored, but there are systems and things in place, so it's not easy to disfranchise them, and it's not easy to just put them down. I never really got that before, but I started to think of, what if Ireland, being the tiny country that it is, didn't have that level of fame, I suppose, that we got. I don't know. I don't understand why everybody thinks we're so great. I don't. What did we do? What did we do? What did we give? I mean, loads of people left Ireland and went to other places and did shit, but they did that in loads of other places around Europe as well, and all around the world, all the time. It's not necessarily an Irish trait. We make whiskey and stuff, but Scottish make good shit too. Music is not the best, and it's not like other Celtic, Vikingish, can't remember the name of the word, Anglo-Saxony kind of crap doesn't have that as well. In regards to music as well, England owns majority of the greatest bands ever and artists, unfortunately. Now that does come from them destroying and stealing from almost every country and ethnicity and culture. But hey, wouldn't have the Beatles, wouldn't have Led Zeppelin, wouldn't have Pink Floyd, and the list can go on and on and on and on and on. Rolling Stones, David Bowie. I'm just going to stop because I literally can go for days. But we don't have much. Right? We don't have much. Actors, okay, we've John Lewis, but he's a psychopath. And I'll do something completely different about him, talking about how he's probably quite an asshole. And people just totally don't accept it. They think, oh God, he's so good. Look at him. That's commitment. No, it's actually him being quite arrogant and an asshole. So, yeah. But, I mean, with Bono? No. Colin Farrell, what have we done? Not much. So, if I think about, like, when I see Irish tourists, something happen to them in this country, it's big. And for the most part, when it comes to the embassies and ambassadors of the two countries, it's, oh my God, we're so fucking sorry. I can't believe you allowed this to happen. No, we didn't allow it to happen, okay? Shit happens, and it just so happens that this time it was an Irish tourist, but we're fucking sorry. And we'll do all this blah, 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 right? And it's like, handshakes and everything's sorted and stuff. And the same happens for the most part from other places, like like China. They don't extradite their own people. All these kind of things. The idea that maybe if Wakanda in the world of the Marvel universe was this, hello, we are Wakanda, we are proud, we are here. We can pretty much fix Africa, so it's all good. Africa's the biggest continent on the planet, so that's a lot of that's a big bright light on the main stage. Oh fuck, man! I can understand why if you were black growing up in America, you'd be like, and then you find out that existed, you'd be like, dude, like. A phone call or something, a statement would have been nice. Like nothing. But you know, the extremist, over-the-top view is Killmonger's. Like instead of just coming into the world and showing and sharing your technology and all these kind of things and representing the people, giving them a place of origin to really stand behind them, that has a power on the main stage. It's let's use our power and ability to fuck over the people who have been screwing our people for all these years, which is like, well, no, because no, you're not here, Martin Luther. Violence and violence, they don't go together. That's not the quote, by the way. Martin is like, violence and balance, they don't go together. But no, that's not what he said. It's a fantastic, beautiful quote. I think it's actually said by Black Lightning in the first episode of Black Lightning to his daughter. But it's along the lines of violence begets violence. So in that side you can't really agree, but that's the comic book evil villain part. But when you take that away and you strip it down to just the movie, you're like, damn, I really agree with this guy. And at the moment before, like the moment when he fights Black Panther, and this is why, like Ryan, certain directors and certain people, they put shit in movies and scenes that whether most of the people will be involved in a certain scenario to get that dynamic. It doesn't matter, because it matters to the story of they would. And that the fight, he says something which makes it like Killmonger says something, and it's put me right into MMA and UFC. And when you're looking at two matchups and you're like, both these people are very skilled. Now we don't know too much about Fighter B. We know Fighter A is a mother. Like they are the legit, and it's not just that they're legit and they're super violent, but they're so skillful that they can dismantle you. But then you have this other person who has just smashed their way super quick up the rankings. And is it momentum? Is it confidence? Is it that the people he fought happen to not be on their best day or whatever, right? But it gets to this moment where you realize the person who's awesome has been staying awesome, honing his skills, getting better, and feeling into this position that he's in. The other person is right in the middle of their mission, their goal. They have been fighting, striving, sacrificing, doing everything to get to this moment, and now it's here. And they haven't cooled down or shut down yet. They haven't relaxed into a frame of not mediocrity thinking, but settled. The up-and-comers who have nothing to lose and have literally just come fresh from the battlefield over again to finally take the thing that they've been working for. And when you hear, and I use it all the times in the MMA when this happens, it's someone who's like, you don't get it. When I started fighting, I watched this person. And I watched what they were doing and how good they were. And my goal was to beat this person. So from the very first fight that I took, it was a step closer to beating this person. Not just to getting to fight this person, but to beating this person. And that's what Killmonger is at when he's there. And that's at that moment, it was like, I totally buy that he is going to absolutely destroy Black Panther. He's just going to destroy him right now. Obviously, he's not going to actually kill him, but I totally was bought into it and was waiting, ready for it to happen. And these little subtle differences that you add to a character and to a scene, they add impact. And they matter. They make these things matter. And if you can't get stakes in regards to full-on, how many characters are going to die in this movie? Is a character going to die? The stakes have to be in the emotional realism of what's going to happen next. That whether somebody or you want one character to do something, or want them to get away from something, or to beat someone in a fight, whether they're going to die or not, it's irrelevant. No, You don't have a choice. You don't have a say. It doesn't matter to the plot or to the general story of the good guy winning. In the now that is in this fictional universe, this person, all the chips are in their favor, and they have the better hand, and that's just the end of it. You have a better hand, and I love that honesty and truth to the art. There's a glowing electricity in this movie that you cannot deny is that regardless of the not only is everybody there super friends. Like, they all get along with each other. They all seem to genuinely be able to talk and be completely easy around each other. So when they take these mantles as these characters, there's no buffer or weird sheen in between the speeches, the dialogues, the mannerisms, and the feelings in between each character. It's genuine, open, and real. Like you got to fly on the wall to this scenario, and then you add that with the once again radiant electricity, the piping electricity that everybody in this film is so pumped and excited and just, I don't know what the word, psyched isn't a good enough word, born to be there. This is maybe the most meaningful for them at that moment thing that they've done yet in their life. I don't mean meaningful as in oh well, the time I spend with the ones I love and my wife, my husband. No, what I mean, when you do stuff with your time in your existence on this planet, with your career, there comes a time where you'll do certain things, hopefully. That's a good sign as well that you found something that really does speak to you as a career, and you found the right people, and you've reached that place where you're doing something that it reaches the pinnacle of, I don't know if I'll produce something after this or be involved in something after this that is more perfect than exactly what I wanted to be doing in this career. It really matters, and it really means something to me, the work that I'm doing here. And that is so profound throughout the characters, throughout how the actors embody these characters, throughout the scenes, the shots, the extras, everything. It's just it's an essence of pride of just being a part of it, and that elevates any movie or any experience, any art. It elevates it. Even if someone is coming down to teach us some life lessons, if you can believe that they really care about you and they really do believe in what they're saying, and they really feel like what they're saying to you right now is going to matter, and they really want to put their care and dedication to it because they want it to come out in this work that they're doing because it feels like it deserves it. You listen a bit more. It's people don't hate authority. It's just a lot of are being told to do or what's a good idea of advice. It's just a lot of people are really shit at relaying that information. But when you get that essence of someone else really has a purpose in what they're doing and finds a purpose in what they're doing, and then you see that in the actors that are with you, and then you feel it in yourself as well, and you see it in the director, you see it in the writer, you see it in the cinematographer, which has to get a mention. I have to Google this. My apologies. I wasn't going to ruin this by Googling it, but I completely forgot to mention the cinematographer to keep the Black Panther cinematographer. Rachel Morrison. Dude. Or lady. People. Give that girl an award, please. Please give that girl an award. She did Dope. She did Fruit Valve Station, which is another Ryan Coogler film with Michael B. Jordan. She did Dope as well. And Mudbound. Never seen it. Don't know if I heard of it. Carey Mulligan, Jason Clarke, Jason Mitchell, Mary J. Blige. Oh, no way. I haven't heard her names. Seen her names. Rob Morgan, Jonathan Banks, and Garrett Hedlund. Oh, it's a Netflix thing. Okay, cool. Anyway, she's amazing. She's amazing. The colors the shots, the homeliness, the world. It's so good. It's so good. It's so good. She's so talented. She is so goddamn talented. It's beautiful. It's beautiful. And I'm gonna switch over for a second and keep this in the background while I go over more of the overall aesthetics, the generality, and the character performances and the actors and stuff like that. I'm gonna keep my IMDb window open because I have terrible memory with names. I remember faces like a mother effer. I'm really good at remembering faces. I can see your face once and forever. I'm like, I know you. I like, I've seen people who in shows. I'm like, I have seen a whole TV series with this person, and then it turns out that I saw them on this one episode of this one thing like 5 years ago, 10 years ago. I'm like, how do I remember that person's face so well? But when it comes to names, I go downhill. But what I am going to do for the moment is put this on, and hopefully with me being in the picture there, me talking over it, and with the Aztec Emerald thing in the corner, this won't infringe any copyright nonsense, and it'll be okay for fair use. Please, I'm very poor, and I can't afford being sued by a multi-million-dollar company. Thank you.
I have seen gods fly. I've seen men build weapons that I couldn't even imagine.
I love that setting.
I've seen aliens.
It's just the place is open to the mountain and a cave, but it's like an office with bones hanging. It's class.
I've never seen anything like this.
Also, they're like the ships are like little insects. It's really cool. They're like termites, and these other insects are kind of like dragonflies. It's awesome. I love that. Such a beautiful world that they created. Like from the ground level, you see the skyscrapers, everything in between. You see the people move around the markets, the waterfalls, the fight scenes.
To decide what kind of king you are going to be.
Shuri, just
don't freeze.
I never freeze.
Well, I know that Riri in the comic books is the new future Iron Man, Iron Lady, whatever. Please make that Shuri in the future.
Show me my respect.
Michael B. Jordan might steal the show, except for the fact that T'Challa, like, Chadwick Boseman, man, is just, listen, that, I cried, okay, I cried in this movie. That's something I forgot I never said spoken to you.
I waited my entire life for this. The world's gonna start over.
Andy Serkis chews the scenery. He just grabs a film. Awesome, fantastic.
To the rest of the world.
Yeah, Chadwick Boseman blows out of the park, because if you ever looked at any movie videos with him on like an interview or whatever, he seems like a mid-20s, early 30s, mid-20s dude, right? Like late 20s. T'Challa comes across as a guy wiser beyond his years, older, maybe in his late 30s, maybe 40s, and it's class. But not at the same time in his body or anything. He's still a young girl dude, but he has this presence to him, man. That, listen, the revolution will be live. It is live, and you better recognize it, because this movie is just the tits. It's just the tits. It's 100% the tits, all in all and around the place. That's not what I'm supposed to do. There we go. So I'm gonna go each one down, right? I'm going to leave Shuri for last, because, not for last, but near the last, because she's one of my favourite characters in the whole thing, and I am crushing super hard on Letitia Wright. So, we'll start off with Forrest Whitaker. Now, what I really like about Forrest Whitaker is he didn't overplay the performance. And that particular performance of, like, the priest gathering the people to the place and, saying the rituals and speaking loud, like the Bruce Buffer kind of thing, it's very easy to overact and go over the top, and he didn't. He kept it very relevant and tame. And I really appreciated that, because it would have kind of taken away from not the emotion, but the personalness of this particular challenge, this particular ceremony that they have, where everyone gets to challenge the Black Panther for the right to be the ruler. So I was very happy with how he played that role. Daniel Kaluuya. I'm gonna say yes. He does a really good job of being the meek, kind of nice, polite dude in the show, who then kind of turns, because it's like I'm nice and I'm kind and I'm trying to, turn to the cheek, or believe in the big picture, but I'm just not seeing it, and it's not happening. And then here comes this guy, and he's now giving me the one thing you couldn't give me, even though you said you tried, and I believe you and I don't hate you. But look, I need results, and this guy is giving them, and I'm gonna have to go with him. And at no point do you turn around to his character and go, "Screw you, man! You're a traitor. Forget you." You don't. You side with him, and you're like, "Yeah, I can see why." Which makes it extra awesomely weird, because he's essentially married to Danai Gurira's character, and I can't remember the names of the characters they play. Daniel Clear plays Wakabi, and Okoye is Danai Gurira. And so, they're married, so it's extra tension as well. But he does it really, really well, in a really good way. And then there's this kind of point where he realizes, he has the rhino. He sends the rhino after the people, but it's Oye's there in the center, and she kind of comes up, and the rhino sees her and stops dead, because the rhino is the child in a divorce. But I love you both. I don't love each one of you less or more. If you tell me go there, and then I happen to see Mum, I'm like, "Oh, hey, Mum." It's not a threat. She loves me just as much as you have. My memories of you just as much as her. So I like that scene. And then when they're kind of over winning the battle, and she kind of has him at knife point, and he's kind of they're both kind of "Oh, we're still fighting," and "Oh yeah, and I'm angry at you, just to let you know." But then it kind of gets to the point where she has a knife to his throat, and he's like, "Oh yeah, shit," and I've a knife to, and he kind of is like, "Are you really gonna hurt me?" And she's like, "Are you really gonna allow me? Are you gonna stand here and allow me to make? Are you gonna make me go any further? You know what I mean? Don't make me do this. You don't have to." And he's like, "All right, I didn't realize actually how far we were going until we got to this place." And yeah, and it's beautiful, because these two people are on completely opposite sides. They're warring and they're killing. And then they get to the center, and then they realize that their unity for greater good, with greater good being their love for each other in this aspect, and the good times and the happiness they have for each other, and even little Rhino, that matters more. And they stop. It's pretty cool. Even though it's well, they stopped because the battle ended. She was never going to kill him, and he was never going to give her a reason to. That was that moment where I was like, oh wait, look, realization moment, look where we are. And I thought he did that really well. I was really happy with with how he did it, because I get worried sometimes when an actor is really cool in a movie because they were really good with this director and everything worked really well, and then they get thrown into a movie that it's asked of them to do stuff that's man, you wouldn't even ask Leonardo DiCaprio to do that stuff. This is that's ridiculous. It's like when it's like Ben Affleck was good with Batman, and then they were like, okay, now be the Iron Man of it, plus still be Batman, and be more funny, but don't be too funny, but just be all these other things, because you were so good with Batman, everyone loved you with Batman, so you got to carry everything. And she's like, whoa, no, that's not going to work. You're asking way too much of someone that even if they're that good, it's not going to matter. But it was balanced right, and he nails it. Obviously, testament to the writers, and the director. Michael B. Jordan, Killmonger. What can I say about him? Best bad guy in the Marvel MCU. In the Marvel Cinematic Universe, in the MCU. by far. Well, I don't know. I would actually argue that Loki is maybe possibly the best bad guy, and he has been in the most fleshed out. Wrong. Loki is not the same at all. Loki is a instigator of banter for the viewers, not the same as a full-on villain. At no point was Michael B. Jordan's character going to compromise. At no point. That's why it ended the way it ended. His line at the end of the movie, his last line, is testament to, I was never ever going to compromise. Black Panther turns around and he's like, we can heal you, I can still save your life if you come back with me. And he said, bear me out at sea. I want to die with my ancestors. I want to die in the same place as my ancestors, who knew that it was better to die free than live in chains. That is why that makes him the perfect villain. And that's why that makes him the best villain in the MCU. Because he is the most compelling. He is unbelievably relatable. You totally, like, not like, well, I can agree with his motivation. No, you kind of share his motivations if you're going to sit there and have a philosophical debate. Some of the stuff he says, you could imagine yourself saying as well. You don't have that with Loki. He's interesting and he's cool and fun as a character, but that's not necessarily what makes him the most interesting villain. Ian McKellen as Magneto is a compelling, fantastic villain because he has so much conviction. It's not zealotry, it's conviction. The same as, I said zealot-like when I'm talking about Killmonger, but it's zealot-like because it's zealot for people who have not led the life that he has. There are people who've had tidbits, morsels of, or can relate to aspects of his life, and they will have his same level of conviction. It's not warranted for them, it's false conviction, and therefore it's more ideology of zealotry. But with people who grew this opinion based off consistent things that have happened throughout their life and experiences, that becomes conviction, and they won't compromise, and that's extremely compelling. And they are relatable characters because their conviction for their reasons of why they do what they do is born from stuff that nobody wants, that nobody would ask for themselves, that people are so grateful that they've never had that in their lives. So the idea that these people have these kind of lives and have had this kind of shit just makes you go, damn, what would I do if I was in their shoes, man? I might be even worse. You know what I mean? They actually might be quite composed compared to, and quite methodical in planning and taking their time and patient. I don't know if I would have been any of those things. And that's what makes it like, wow. And it's, Loki doesn't have that, I'm sorry. Like, he has a relationship with his brother and it's really cool, but he does not have that conviction. He doesn't. Because he changes and he bends and he flips at any point. The only conviction he has, if there is any, is he's incapable of doing anything serious. But even that's not true, because he does serious shit. I don't know. I get how people can say he's the greatest villain up until this point, but I wouldn't really consider him a villain. I would say that up to this point, Marvel villains have been so weak that we've technically used the roguish, selfish, never really good guy, but sometimes you'll need his help, vigilante villain, like a Deathstroke, as our villain, because there hasn't been much options. But now we can say that there's the best villain in all of the Marvel movies so far, and that's Killmonger. I really loved about this movie that although I hadn't seen much of these actors in a lot of shit, like I might have seen one movie or one or two things with them in it. I'm not just talking about the people on the screen right now, but just in general. I felt like it's like you feel like you know these people. It sounds so bizarre, man. It sounds so bizarre, but you really feel like you know these people. You know these characters. You can relate to them. You come into this world and it's like you're walking with Black Panther and you're like, yeah, I've made this walk before. You know, and they're shrieking like, oh shit, there she is. You know, and it's weird. And I kind of got that when I watched Iron Man 1 a lot, and it was great. And I never got like I was Iron Man. I never got like I was T'Challa, but I just got that like I was there too. It was weird. It's weird. I don't know what that is, and it's something that's rarely talked about when people talk about movies. And the best they can say is you put yourself into the character, or like they're there as a stand-in for us. But it's also, I think, just great world building and character development where you're watching a show or something like These Are Our Friends. Like, it can take a season of a show to get that rapport with characters. Now, you can kind of say, well, they sort of build it that way as well, and I wouldn't argue against that. But I think whether it's built before or whether it's intentional or whatever, it's undeniably there. At least I felt it. I will say that I got a serious Lion King vibe because you have a prince who doesn't think he's ever going to be capable of holding up the mantle that his great father held. The father who basically looks down on him being like, you are so much better than me, you don't even know it. And in a setting where there's a particular type of tree, it's like literally, and in a twilight sky. Those are two identical scenes. One is from, except with the absence of, instead of it being a lion in the Lion King, there's panthers, and there's also humans in the scene, but it's still the same. To me, I just was like, I got so much. Is Disney inside itself? It's like Disney has gone into itself. They've done so much stuff that even when they're doing new stuff, they can't help but go inside and outside of themselves while they're doing stuff. It's kind of like The Simpsons and other like South Park stuff. It's like, Simpsons did it. Well, yeah, okay. And I suppose it doesn't matter if Disney did it because they are Disney, so it's fine. But I definitely got that. And like they're also both in Africa. So like you couldn't get two more common scenes. Like the tree that they're in front of is the exact same tree that Rafiki is in when he sees Simba and he's like, I know your father. You know my father, I know you. Or so you knew my father, I know your father. That whole thing where he slumps down, he's like, Father, what am I going to do? He sees his reflection in the water and stuff. This is like the same scene. He goes to the place of the Panther plane and he meets his father. So I don't really cry when you use the word cry as in feeling it. Just that is very rare for me. However, my eyes water like a sprinkler in California all the goddamn time, for no really random reason, over the top to the point where it's egregious. And if I laugh, I cry. If I yawn, I cry, which was a huge problem in school because I'd yawn all the time in school, and we were like, "Oh, who keeps crying, bitch? I'll show you crying, and I'll make you cry, and then you'll know what crying is." But yeah, when I yawn, when I laugh, when I sneeze, if I sneeze too much, like if you know we have a little snip fit, you start that. Sneezing fits. After like the third or fourth sneeze, I'll start to cry. And another thing, if like I'm watching something that I'm like, oh man, that was so cool. That was so cool with the story, with the growth, with everything. And if I'm watching and like, oh man, that's really like touching and stuff. I won't sit there and go, it's so touching. I was like, That's real touching, man. And for God's sake, I'm not even sad. That I can't watch scenes about people meeting their dead parent and not involuntarily have water come out my eyeballs. But what is rare is for me to go, fuck. And I did that in this movie. I unemotionally streamed water through natural organicness of crap that is my stupid eyes during the first scenes, in the first part of the movie. But that later part where he talks to his dad and basically calls him out in his shit and calls him on it and like owns his belief and owns his opinion about it and all this kind of stuff, and he's like, I'm gonna, like, he remembers why he loves his dad and all these kind of things. But he's like, you also did these things that's wrong, and you made a huge mistake, and I'm not gonna sit there and say that you're perfect just because you're gone, because I think it's insulting to your memory. And I want to be like you, but I want to be the person that I thought you were as a superhero. And now that I know that you're human, I feel like I relate to you more, which is good, because it now also means that, you know, your place is not unattainable, but also, like, I can do what I think your mission was to make a better version of you, help to teach me so I can not go by your shortcomings, that you hope I will take all the traits that you have and that my mother has, all the good traits, and that with your wisdom and teaching that I will hone and refine and grow the good traits, and through your teachings and your lessons taper out and avoid the bad traits. And this is one thing that plagued you and upset you so much that you refused to admit about yourself, and I became subject to that same forthcoming until I realized the truth. So how dare you, but at the same time I'm proud that I'm making this decision, because all in all I think this is what you would want from me, is to go, wow, you are so good that even though you had my forthcoming, you even got around that. I have literally made, my mission is complete. You know what I mean? That shit chokes me up real bad, because it's true, and there's truth to that art, and it extends and really strings, like cuts into the love he has for his father, but it deepens the love he has for his father. It's strange and it's hard to understand, but I kind of have the same scenario with my dad. Like, you think that they're perfect and they're amazing, and then you find out when they're older, when they're gone, that they're human. And it's like, okay, it's like, oh shit, Santa's not real, damn. But at the same time, you're like, but wait, my parents have been doing this stuff for me my whole life, even though we couldn't. Man, I've asked for stuff that I thought Santa was going to give me that they couldn't afford, but yet somehow they got it for me. Oh my god, and you have a much bigger appreciation. Well, I definitely can't show this to kids now. God damn it. Oh well. I just don't think that's my audience, man. Cigarettes. Tobacco. Premier rolled tobacco by human hands. Mine. I don't want machines making my cigarettes. I'm gonna have a debt cancer stick. I'd rather make it myself. Thank you. Anywho, that related like F to me, and that really choked me up, and that got me going, fuck. Because the one part of those scenes that opens the door to the possible of annoying tears, and then the possible even genuine choked up feeling, is I get really jealous and upset when I watch movies where people get to meet the parent that is gone and say things to them that they wish they could say, because I'm never going to have that opportunity, and it really hurts. But for those moments when it's happening, in my head I get to have those conversations, and it's not the perfect answer or solution, but it's definitely helpful and cathartic in some level. That I don't know if it's something that we all necessarily have to have who've had that situation happen to them, but it's definitely something that when you do get it, you're like, oh, that's actually nice. That was nice. That was nice. Wouldn't hunt for it, wouldn't search for it, but maybe that was actually nice. And just to be able to have those moments in a film that's so devoid of that emotion, because it's not about that emotion, that's not the message. I think it's a juggling craftsmanship skill that is gone behind the scenes and is implemented perfectly when people don't really notice how seamlessly it is in the overall picture. And it's one of those unfortunate things when if you're amazing at doing something, no one notices, so people don't credit you for it. But I just think Ryan Coogler nails that. He nailed that. The gravitas that Chadwick Boseman is able to put on T'Challa, man, they're they are completely different people. They're two completely different people. It's so strange, and it's not like so strange. That's acting, man. Yeah, but like I've never really seen this guy in anything but Black Panther. So my assumption, I didn't really watch any interviews or anything by him, because I don't know, at the time when for the most part, I don't know why I didn't want to watch interviews and shit about the people themselves. I just thought that I don't know why, maybe I was in some kind of mental slump where I was like, I want to be these people, so I don't want to watch them living a life talking to the cameras about cool shit that they did. That's stuff that I just want to do, like some pathetic little twat. But yeah, but I don't know, something about it was Star Wars The Last Jedi. That's what started me again to watching videos about the actors and stuff like that, because it mattered to me that the actors loved what they were doing, and if you genuinely love what you're doing, you can't lie about that in an interview. It's there or it's not. It's like porn, you know when you see it. But I just thought that Chadwick Boseman was someone that they picked and groomed to fit this role that is Black Panther. Not some dude who's in no way like Black Panther, but is such a goddamn good actor that he nails Black Panther. Like, I really had an idea who Black Panther was. I've read some of the more modern comics with him in it, but I watched the shit out of the shows, out of the Avengers cartoons, and I think there's like one or two. There's either a small miniseries with Black Panther himself, of just Black Panther and Wakanda doing it with missions and shit, or it's an animated movie. But either or, I've watched it, and that T'Challa is awesome and stuff, but there's a kind of mystery to him, and I don't mean mystery as in, ooh, there's a mystery behind this character, who is he, kind of thing, like a Han Solo kind of, ooh, he's a bit of a mystery. It's more of, I don't think they really know how to flesh this guy out, so they're kind of leaving him at this certain level of vagueness. In regards to, like, we can get the whole big character perspective, what's his main things, what are the big values and all these kind of things, but it's more reflective of the state of Wakanda, what Black Panther, what matters to T'Challa, who T'Challa is. They weren't really able to convey that as much in the animated and stuff, and I never really got at this person, if they were people, if they were like a human, if it was an actual person, not someone written on a piece of paper to be animated or acted as. This is Black Panther. That is Chadwick Boseman to the T. Lupita Nyong'o, I have not watched most of the stuff she's been in, and I will be extremely candid, and I don't care if people want to say give me stick about it. I didn't know till after the fact that she was Maz Kanata. So yeah, I've obviously seen her there. I didn't know till after the fact, but she's brilliant, like, there, because if you think about it, what she couldn't be like, not 1983. So I was born in 1987. She's 5 years old. She's 4 years older than me. She's 34. Maz Kanata is a 60, 70-year-old wise woman who, because of her race, is slightly younger, but she probably is still about, 80, 90 to her hundreds or whatever. And she plays that role fantastically. Well, for the most part... Oh, wait, actually, did I watch Sugar? Interview John follows a group of people in Nairobi, Kenya. No, I think I watched the thing, people talking about it. That's right. Well, actually, I watched a lot of this Force of Destiny and all those kind of things, so I guess I have seen a lot of it with her. And That's a Voice Doesn't Count. 12 Years a Slave, right? I never watched that movie. I didn't watch it because I don't care and I have no time for irrelevant Oscar bait. Which is, there's a formula that we make which gets this. I want nothing to do with that. I can't speak for other people, but for myself, when I see it, I see those movies as people who every once in a while their morality comes into question, or they feel other people are looking at them with a moral scope, make certain movies as a way of going, you see, we do understand and we do get it, and we're not in our high up places where we don't really understand what life is really like. We get it, we understand it, and we're celebrating the people who break that mold and who come above it. And it's like, yeah, but it's made by the people that are the same as you, and it's funded by the people who are the same as you. It's usually written by the people who are not the people that the story is about in the movie, and it's just reeks of manufactured tripe, with the end result of making people who have no need to feel that they've already are great, or look and how it's just I don't care for it. I don't care for it. I'm not saying I don't condone it. I'm not saying you're a bad person if you watch it. I'm not saying it's a disgrace. I personally just don't have time for it. Don't care. I want to see the people in it actually play roles that they can sink their teeth into as actors, rather than... I don't like historical movies and stuff like that, mainly because I don't go to movies to learn or to be made check my guilt. I go to movies to be entertained. That's where I go. I've had enough of life that has told me life is harsh, life isn't fair. There are problems, and then there's problems, and there's problems, alright? And when it comes to problems, most of those problems everybody can relate to across the planet, regardless of race, sex, not race, regardless of culture, sex, status, whatever. That's a problem. And then there's, but I don't feel good. No. They're not problems. They are not problems. Well, maybe they're not problems to you, but you must understand that. Don't care. Your feelings don't matter to anybody, and they never will. The only reason they matter is because there are people around you who like you enough and love you enough and care for you enough that your feelings matter to them. And that's a beautiful, unique, gorgeous thing that we ignore and we take for granted. We take for granted that the people who care about us just should always have our back with all of our opinions. And we also take for granted that our opinions matter to everybody else when they don't, because they matter so much to us. They don't. That's the point. You have to have people who care for you and love you and want you to be happy. Then your opinions matter, but only to those people. If a tree falls in the woods, does it make a sound? Yeah, it does. But if no one's around to hear it, that's fucking irrelevant, and it doesn't actually matter. What matters is the tree breaking, but the sound is irrelevant. That's an opinion. It's an irrelevant sound unless somebody who hears it actually cares about the sound, or the thing that's making the sound, if you will. And that's the way I have for those kind of films. I just think they're pointless. I go to be entertained. I go to movies to be entertained. I want to see stuff that is problems that I'll never see, with scenarios that I wouldn't find normally in life, with a cool story and relatability to it in this ridiculous concept. And that can be superheroes, but like it can be Godfather. Actually, Godfather is a set for set, action for action, redone, detailed description of real events. No, it's not. No, it's not. It's an unbelievably exaggerated, caricatured idea of a concept. And yeah, it has lessons to teach, but the lessons to teach are in an exaggerated, ridiculous way. That, for the most part, you don't really have to listen to the lessons. Just enjoy the story, because it's awesome. I didn't go to Godfather and have lessons. The only thing I got back from The Godfather is, honestly, don't make deals with the mafia if you are not okay with them maybe breaking your legs and murdering people you care about. Because if you don't make those deals and borrow money off them, they won't want their money or be waiting for their money because you didn't borrow or make a deal. And now I know there's a whole extortion thing. For the most part, I got like, cool, so if you don't get involved with shady people, you don't have to be worried about shady people wanting shit off you. For the most part. Okay, grand. But yeah, I don't go to learn. I live life and I learn. I learn living life. I go to movies to be entertained and see things I don't get to see in daily life. So I hadn't seen 12 Years a Slave. But I understand why she's an Oscar actress. And I completely forgot her name. Lupita Nyong'o. Lupita Nyong'o. I think that's how you pronounce it. I hope it's how you pronounce it. I really like the fact that it's not just because it's written in a certain way, but by how Lupita plays the character. The fact that she's Black Panther's ex is as additional to her character as the one with short hair. Like, it's not a it's more the fact that she's his ex has more of an effect on T'Challa rather than it does as her character. You know what I mean? There is no representative difference of not just ownership, but like relevant presence of importance between Lupita, Okoye, or Black Panther. Like, there isn't. Like, when Black Panther gets taken down by Killmonger, Okoye is like the new Dora Milaje, and like she's still the Dora Milaje, she's still the head. So she has absolute like power over Black Panther, over T'Challa from then on, if she wants to, if he tried to do anything. You know what I mean? And Black Panther's feelings towards Lupita, or Nakia, is like, she kind of looks at him as like, you better not don't be letting your feelings get in the way of this stuff. Alright? Do you want me with you because you think it's better for Wakanda, or do you want me with you because you want me with you because I've my own to do? So don't be poking your finger in here just for the sake of poking your finger. Like, this topic, like, be careful when you're messing around with this topic. Don't be weirdo about it. Are you just weak in the knees? Like, is that, you know what I mean? Is that, like, don't be playing that. I got real shit to deal with. And it's great. It's refreshing. And what I really like about it, and this is something that, like, I'm sorry, but Supergirl just has to tone it down on. You can have people in a movie and they'd be badasses and cool without having to constantly kind of say, meh, meh, just so you know, these people are just as badass as the other people. Just so you know, they're just as cool. Look how cool these people are. Look how badass they are. Like, it's overkill. It's overkill, man. And it's not like that. Like, I'm going to be talking about it because female badasses in movies these days is it's a topic, whatever. But what I like about it, again, people are using arguments for this film that they're missing the point. The other argument they made is, I think this shows it's such a great supporter of women and yes, but in the right way. In the right way, that you're just, these characters are badasses. That's it. That is it. Doesn't matter that they're girls or guys. They're just badasses, and it's not trying to say that girls are better or guys are better or look at this and look at that. It's just, here are some characters. Here's some interesting shit about these characters. Enjoy. And I love it. I love it. Because when Nakai, Shuri, and Okoye are like going for it, you're like, dude, people getting in their way are gonna get fucked up. They're gonna get screwed up. It's different. They actually takes place at different separations through the movie where they're kind of doing, because it's Nakaya and Shuri near the end battle, and Okoye is like in the middle of the battle with the rest of her Dora Milaje. And then when it's I'm really bad with this, Nakia and Okoye, they're with T'Challa, and Shuri's like back in Wakanda. But that whole thing with her in the car and stuff, it's so cool, man. And that chase, oh my god, that chase is just badass. And Okoye, when she gets on the top of the car and the spear goes through the car in front and then just dents right into the fucking indents, right into the concrete, into the engine block, stopping the car dead. And little when her foot like sticks with the magnet to the top of the car, it's badass. It's so good. Such a good scene. And the kinetic energy build up, and you find out that's where that jump scene comes from in the trailer. And she's like, you're getting hit with the bullets from kinetic energy. And he's like, oh shit, yeah. And he just waits for it, boom, and then enters all the kinetic. Because like they've got like, I think it's not just a machine gun. I think it's like a belt fed one of those like Browning motherfuckers, like a miniature Browning going for it, like. So his shoot's getting shot up. Yes, I tried to do it with an South African accent, and I was talking too quick and didn't put my brain wasn't on point, and I probably sounded extremely bad, and it was bad. But I don't care, because it's an accent and I'm messing around. I never freeze. Don't freeze. I never freeze. If you can do something, do it. And I'm not shit at it, so off. And by the way, I ain't 100% white either. I'm half Mexican, so check yourself. I can't wait to see more of what Nakai is going to be doing, because the whole point was she was kind of an undercover espionage spy, and she didn't really believe that she was capable of being Dora Milaje material. But now she is. She's like totally taken the mantle, if you will. She's embraced the mantle. So she's going to be like with him as the more spy in the modern in the modern world. That was really bad. That was bad. In the America. It's America. When they go to America, she's going to be like a spy for Black Panther, and then obviously Okoye is still going to be his right hand. Well, kind of his big sister. She kind of is more of a big sister to him than anything else. And like, he's the king, but she can be like, hey, don't be a bollocks. And he'd be like, I'm so sorry. Like, if he screws around, he's like, oh, don't tell Okoye. I don't want her to be mad at me. I can't. She's stressed. You know what I mean? So like, she's formidable as fuck. It's really cool. Angela Bassett, okay, she didn't have that much of a role, but any role she's in is just like empowering presence. She's another actress. She's an actor who just has presence, just natural presence, which is very, very hard to do. Where's M'Baku? Why is he not here? Why is your man Winston Duke, man, Winston Duke, man. I watched a show called Persons of Interest, and Winston Duke played a guy called Dominic, and he was such a cool villain. He wasn't pompous, he wasn't over the top. He was just very simple, very basic. He was street, but he wasn't street with arrogance and anger and anything like that. He was street with the realism of no need for theatrics. And he was sophisticated in the sense of there's no need for belligerence and this on this, like big braggadocio either. He played it so well that at every point you're like, when you're beside this guy, you're like, I genuinely feel that this might be the smartest man in the entire room, in any room that he's in. And he just wears a t-shirt and jeans. It's very well done. Like it's brilliant, obviously written character, but he nails it. And I really, really have a thing. One of my things is seeing actors who play really kick-ass performances in unique, cool roles, or take a generic role and make it awesome in a TV show or something small in a movie, and wanting to see them elevate to bigger and bigger and bigger things. So to see him in Persons of Interest, and then see him now in Black Panther as M'Baku. Is M'Baku man-ape? I'm pretty sure, because like he has that presence. He's huge. Like he must be 6'4". I don't know, 180, 200 of muscle. Like he's jacked, man. Man-ape. M'Baku. Man-ape M'Baku. Yep. He was brilliant, and I'm so glad he was able to be in that film. Martin Freeman, just to take a little left turn here. Martin Freeman, really glad that they didn't make him the bumbling white guy who's like totally out of his element here. Nope, he was the strict, very straightforward, don't fit me with kitty gloves. I'm in CIA agent really well, and I was really happy with that. And at the same time, like, the characters in the world respected the certain level of knowledge he had about certain things, because like, why wouldn't you? That's his job. Andy Serkis already he chewed the scenery. Oh man, he's got like, I am so happy that he's not an ape or a golem or any other amalgamation of some kind of chimera of some sort. Like that he's actually able to play a person, and he's able to play like this, one of those people that like just be a mad bastard, just be despicable, just be a fucker, and he really chews into it, and I love it. I love just his like there's a part where they get in the museum and they shoot loads of people like real quick, real assassin style, and then they let one guy run. He's like, nah, don't worry, go on, tell your friends, get that, today's your lucky day, my friend. And he goes off running, and then he bang shoots in the back of the head with a very satisfied and then he's like when the guy turns around, he's like, I think it's actually Killmonger's like, why didn't you just kill him with everyone else? How was that? Because it looks less professional when you let them run out and the body is all over the place. And it's like, ha, man. But it's like, it's yes, if the bodies are scattered, it looks less professional. But at the same time, it doesn't really matter when even that one dude won't make it look less professional, where there's 4 other dudes who all got shot professionally, tapped in the head, and the place was robbed professionally. So it's literally just a real twist to his character. But I love him as that. Like, he's brilliant at it. Okoye, Danai Gurira, dude, don't fuck with Denai Guerrera. Like, she plays two of maybe the most badass motherfuckers on, like, screen. Seriously, although I have completely not just broken up with, not just stopped talking to, but like divorced, annulled, and restraining order The Walking Dead. F that show to its core. It doesn't change the fact that at nearly every turn, Michonne is just bitching awesome. And she is a very, very, very different bitchin' awesome from Okoye. She is bitchin' awesome from being damaged and fear and, not wanting to be a victim anymore. Whereas Okoye is a badass from being grown and honed as an instrument of will, precision, and power. But with these cornerstone principles and goals that fortify her character, that, when she's coming after you, you're definitely effed, because most other things, like, she's ticked all her boxes and you more than likely have no way out, and there's probably not much people you can hide behind if she's coming after you. Super well respected. She's the leader of the group. She's awesome, and as I said, she has this presence with her where she's not one of those loyal, will always be there for you, but annoying jerk at the same time. No, she's likable the whole way through, and she has this big sister kind of personality thing, a relationship with T'Challa, and it's really nice. Now we get to Shuri, who, maybe it's just me, more than likely it's just me, but I feel not stole the show, but came out as the breakout person from that movie. Both the actress and the character. I think people are going to want to see way more of Shuri in the future movies. I am dying to see her chat with Tony Stark. I'm so cool. It'd be so cool. She's like Q. She's like the Q for them, like Bond's Q. She's brilliant. She has this. She plays the little sister in regards to love and respect and admiration of her brother, but little sister at the same time of, I know your shit, so you can't pull shit on me. You know what I mean? Like, there's even at one point there, I can't remember what she says or what's said to her, because I've only seen the film once. In regards to individual bits of dialogue, come on, man, I'm not a robot. Like, when people quote stuff and quote movies, these are things like Star Wars, this is like a New Hope kind of quotes and stuff. Like, that's just been around for years. We've rewatched it hundreds of times. I've rewatched Godfather hundreds of times. It's not as hard. You know what I mean? I trusted you, Fredo. You know what I mean? It's like, it's not as easy to remember them. But they were talking about, like, if he said he didn't really want the mantle, T'Challa was like, maybe I don't know if I want to be king. He's like, you're going to be the greatest king. He's like, and if what happens, then what are you going to be? Or they're even singing to Shuri or something like that. I can't remember what it is, but she's like, maybe I can be the Black Panther. And then they say something else, and he says something to her. It's like kind of zinger or whatever, and she just walks off and gives him one of these, just lying up behind her. She's just, and you see her face and smirk, where it's like, F you on one side of her face, but I love you guys so much. I love this. I love being here. I love this life, on the other side of her face. And it's brilliant and it's perfect. And little things that, like, it's not just with Shuri the character, but it's also to do with the world of Wakanda. And it kind of goes to my personal desire of aesthetics that I didn't realize I liked until after watching many episodes of Cribs. Generically, as a stereotype, white people things are not as fun and cool as black people things. When I looked at houses on Cribs, I looked at all their houses, and for the most part, nearly all white people, their houses are like cool It'd be really deadly if I had a friend who had that house I could go to sometimes. But I wouldn't want to live there. How much did that table cost you? Oh, it's made of a door that used to be a part of this castle from this cunt back in who gives a shit? No. But then you go to this black guy's crib and he's like, look at this marble table. And look, it heats up placemats. So you don't have to put your plate in the placemat anymore. It's got slightly gripped and you press a button and it warms it. And look how iPod black it looks in like to match with the black cabinet, the iPod kind of sheen cabinets with the white marble counters everywhere else and big large windows, you know, and shit like that, like architect shit and modern aesthetics, because it's all about the future, making shit better, building on greater, and, you know, just looking good and looking proper and looking class and being fresh and being new. I've always liked those cribs better. And you get all of that concept distilled into one particular set piece, which is the lab. Shuri's lab. Now, yes, it is a huge part of her personality is that lab, so they want to kit it out relevant to show this is the kind of girl that she is. But it's also in keeping with the Wakanda culture and the culture and the style of Wakanda. Which is, hey man, if it looks cool and it suits the atmosphere, flaunt it. Every lab, every science thing in every Marvel movie, or most movies in general, are cold and sterile. And you might get lucky with Iron Man and get blue lights and Minority Report shit. But it's super sterile, super cold, super clinical. Shuri's place is more like a lot of the buttons and stuff, there is tactileness to it, but not just that. I want to say apparatus kind of enclosure thing that, oh my god, what's his name? Martin Freeman's character, Ross? General Ross? No, Agent Ross? It's not Ross. Everett K. Ross. Wakes up in. Around it, the outside of it, is just covered in this kick-ass mural. It's kick-ass mural of like symbols from Wakanda, but it's all done like kind of graffiti style, but like not shitty graffiti, like nice, like not graffiti illustration for like graphic design kind of style. And it's really cool, and it's got just like a funky, deadly kind of nice aesthetic to it. And I literally watched that and was like, that's the first time I've seen something like that in lab before. And now I also know the kind of extra, like, added to the character of the character, and it fits in with the style of Wakanda. Like, you have all these different tribes, and one of them is like the big disc lips, and they've got kind of more of a green to their tribe. And then you have M'Baku's tribe, it's kind of got more pales and whites. And then you have Kaluuya, no, that's Daniel Kaluuya, but his name is Wakabi's tribe, which are blues and stuff like that. And they have these shawls, these battle kind of, I want to say, it's like what would to them would be the equivalent of a Scottish tartan over the shoulder and kilt kind of thing, right? So they all have their kind of thing, but it's not one's greater than the other, and you know, whoever's the Black Panther, like, the whole point is you're not supposed to destroy all the other tribes, you know, and everyone gets a chance to hold place. It's about the unity and the mixing and the amalgamation of the personalities and the people towards the greater being, the greater asset. Like, if Shuri wanted this mad statue mural, that meant she couldn't put up that enclosure. That is what healed Martin Freeman's character, Everett K. Ross. Thank you, Brian. That would make no sense. It wouldn't go for the greater good, but it's just done around it, and it's nice. It's awesome. Side note, just the fact that their holographs aren't Minority Report style. It's like this granulated sand, and it like moves and solidifies. And at one point, Black Panther picks up the 3D compressed granulated black sand truck, army truck that they're gonna like in the trailer that he jumps upon, and like kind of he's up in the tree and they're all shooting at him and shit. I can't remember the word that I'm trying to use for jumping upon something that's in mid movement. But there's a passenger in that who ends up being Nikaya. Nikaya? Yeah, that's how you pronounce it. And he lifts it up, and as he lifts up the top piece and puts it like that, it crumbles away into dust, back into the big mold of like a pot of like just this sand. And then he looks like that, and it's all these little people made out of this compressed sand granules, and then one's glowing yellow, orange, and that's Nikaya's character. But just the way it's done like that is beautiful. That whole aesthetic works really well with the suit. You can definitely assume that this suit technology, that everything is encased in the chain, is going to be more present in more suit technology and stuff in the future of Avengers and whatnot. But I love that there's something about Cherie's character that they don't nail a lot when they do movies, which is the younger sibling who wants to follow in the footsteps of the older sibling and is super excited and capable and and doesn't want to be, even though they're protected by their older siblings, sometimes I feel that the protection kind of holds them back, and they want to prove that, yes, they love the fact that they care about them, but at the same time, they are capable now of helping their older siblings. That is done to an egregious point where the fact that it causes drama and bullshit a lot of the times in movies. The only tension for that is dialogue-wise, for the sake of a quick quip or a good insult, or a loving comment. That's it. And as a result, that essence of that character to want to be a part and to be able to be just as a part is the real essence that rings true, which is awesome. Because when she takes that wheel of that car, even though it's a digital representation, which is awesome, Ghost in the Car, you're not sitting there going, oh, what's going to happen where she makes a mistake or something and she tries to get too big for her boots, or the brother tries to stop her from making a mistake where then a bigger mistake happens and it's just all this bullshit for extra drama. Please don't do that. And it didn't. She's badass. She's awesome. And she's like really, like, if you how she is in those car scenes, I'd have watched that and gone, damn, someone should have hired her for a Fast and the Furious movie years ago. And if they're making more Fast movies, someone should put her in the new Fast movies, because she just has that, woo, yeah, loving it for the sake of just the awesomeness of it all in her character, and it feeds off it, and I fed off it, and I think to a certain extent there is a bit of you, the viewer, in that character, as this is what it's like to be around these people doing this shit. You wouldn't be able to hold in your excitement. But I also like that what Ryan Coogler was able to do with this movie and the script. I'm going to have to get the names of the writers because I don't think it's fair to keep going on and not saying their name. Oh, it's Ryan Coogler, Grant. Joe Robert Cole, who has also written he's done most of other Ryan Coogler stuff with them. I know definitely he worked on Fruitvale Station. One thing that they're able to do really well is there wasn't one character that we put ourselves in and go, oh yeah, this is meant to be us, and that's usually common for most movies, like close movie, recent movie. If you've seen the Harry Potter magical beast thing, your man. What's his name? I'm so bad at actors' names. Such a long name for a movie. Magic. And where to. And. Fantastic Beasts and Where to Find Them. Dan Fogel. Dan Fogel is meant to be us. That's what it's meant to be. Harry Potter is us. Outside of the Wizarding World, now a part of the Wizarding World, and as Harry grows into his wizarding knowledge, we grow into our knowledge of what's capable and powerful for wizards, and why their characters are doing what they're doing. And the main character is Harry, so yeah. People might say, well, Hermione's there as well. Yeah, I suppose so, but not really, because no one's Hermione. That's the whole point. She's not. Ron. I will actually say Ron is more, which is kind of weird considering a woman wrote this book. But maybe Shell's like, well, no, anyone can transpose himself into Ron, Hermione, or Harry. Harry's very generic. Harry's a reactor. He has basic principles. That's it. That's how you're supposed to write someone like that. Luke as well. He's very basic. Ham, interesting as fuck. Very layered. Leia, interesting as fuck. Very layered. Ron, interesting as fuck. Very layered. Hermione, interesting as fuck. Very layered. To do a film where you don't have a basic voyeuristic ability via a particular character for the audience, either is a movie that you have a serious message, and it's not about that at all. It's about you observing and your opinions to you observing this thing. So, like a really serious movie or documentary. But see, like, fuck Oscar movies. I think documentary movies like How to Catch a Predator and all that. Not How to Catch a Predator. How to Catch a Murderer. No, Making a Murderer and Criminal. All that Netflix crap. All right, I can't remember the names of all this shit. But that's how that works. But to do it in a movie that's the type of movie that is like a blockbustery kind of entertaining movie, thriller, whatever, and not have one character for that, but have it in all the characters, that you can actually insert yourself into all these different characters, is fantastic. It's a really well done thing that once again is not noticed when it's done well, which is unfortunate for the most part, because the grand mass won't notice it. But nevertheless, he knocked it out of the park, because you can really insert yourself into the presence of all these different characters, into the persona and into the life of all these characters. It's a beautiful movie. The world that's created is fantastic. I want to go to Wakanda. I want to be around the place. I want to chill. It connects and is going to interlink perfectly into the Marvel Universe. It ends perfectly, although after the credits, with him stepping into the spotlight and bringing Wakanda there. And what's excellent is they see Wakanda as this kind of, Martin Everett Ross says it earlier on. It's like when Andy Serkis asked him, what do you think is about Wakanda? And he's like, farming, basic things, And they kind of looked at him and was like, what's Wakanda when they're at the main stage of the UN? Like, what exactly, forgive us, is Wakanda going to be able to do in order to, be a part? You said you're coming here to share what you have. What is it that we need, And he's like, that's where he kind of smirks, looks at the camera in the kind of, I am Iron Man. Like, you have no idea. I got vibranium, bro. Like, please. Like, ninja, please. You know what I mean? Like, it's great. It's a great little shot at the very end of T'Challa's face. It's fantastic. Winter Soldier, mentioned at the end as well as the white something or something. It's a character in the comics that is actually played by, in the comics, it's a cousin or a stepbrother of Black Panther, but it's more than likely going to be taken up by Bucky Barnes, for the sake of the movies, which is basically have the Dora Milaje, and then you have these other people, group, I can't remember the name of them right now, my brain's frying, that are kind of like the what do you call it, the CIA, like the Spec Ops, that's it, the Spec Ops kind of division of Wakanda. That's these people, and more than likely that's who Bucky's going to end up commanding. In fact, I wouldn't be surprised if when we see in the trailer and Bucky's there with his of Infinity War, and he's there and he cocks his gun, and there's a load of lads behind him who follow suit and cock their gun with them. I wouldn't be surprised if that's the team that he ends up leading as this particular, the White Wolf. That's what they call him, the White Wolf. Nakia calls him that. It is a fantastic, awesome, smooth, cool motherfucking movie, man. The acting is stellar. The characters are stellar. I am crushing hard on Letitia Wright. I can't wait to see these people mingle and react and bounce off the rest of the Marvel Universe. I can't wait for Black Panther 2, because you know there's going to be a Black Panther 2. This movie was so needed. It was so needed because when you're having something like Infinity War, which although is a hard thing to say when you're having because it's never happened before, I don't like when people sit there and say things like, well, like, what's the point in watching these movies if they're just teasers leading up to the next movie and teasers leading up to the next movie? And I very much like how Thor stood on its own, but it stood on its own because you knew where it was going to. It was like the precursor to Thanos. Whereas this was like, hey, P.S., we can also just have another Marvel comic book movie in the universe. And yeah, because we're awesome at this, it will connect. But at no point does it matter that it connects. And nor do you care. Because this movie is just so kick-ass on its own. And as far as I know, for the most part, it's one of the very few of the MCU films where the majority of it, except from a phrase here or there, its main connection that makes you go, oh, to the future movies is after the credits. Where a lot of the other movies kind of can lean into how it connects, or its connection might be the overall stemming plot. Like with every, like Thor 2 and the other ones, Guardians of the Galaxy, the main stemming plot from that were the Infinity Stones, which connected everything. It connects the main goal of this Infinity War that's going to come. This, like, Winter Soldier started the connection of Civil War that was going to happen. You know what I mean? Black Panther is just Black Panther. It's its own movie. It's as standalone in itself, in its world, as like Logan. It's not that it's a different type of movie as Logan, but same in regards to it. You don't have to watch it thinking, oh, which massive chunk of this is actually about the next movie, and I think that was really necessary to really, before Infinity War being the final one, we already know it's coming. We're all ready for the Avengers. Black Panther, Shuri, they're going to be in this. Okoye, like, they're going to be in this one. But it allowed us to the calm before the plunge, the breath before the final hurdle, before the final big battle, before the final thing, the relaxing time where you get to take in these other things that are about and that are of the story and that are in their own vein, their own little stories in themselves. And it was nice, and it's not like, oh, why did they make this random side movie that's not connected to anything just for the sake of it? So it doesn't have that it doesn't have that pulling it down either. It's this perfect little morsel in a big menu. Like a good chef in a good restaurant, it's not just the individual meal or the individual plate. It's the accompaniment of what you're doing, what you're giving them, how much of each food on each platter you're giving them, and when, in what rotation, in what order are you giving these things. And I think that was a perfect miniature meal / aperitif for Infinity War. And it might be one of my favorite of all the Marvel films, because after watching a lot of Marvel films that I were like, oh, this is my favorite so far, it's my favorite so far. there were still things that I was able to really nitpick and pull away at it. I couldn't find a lot in this. What I find other people nitpicking about is, it's a great film, but then it gets to points where like there's just a lot of that comic book fighting and stuff. It's a comic book movie about people with superpowers. If I don't see people with powers beating the shit out of each other in a crazy comic book setting where they're like falling in time and leaping from thing to thing, I'm going to be upset. It's a comic book movie. So we're cool to see Iron Man do all his Iron Man shit. We're cool to see Thor do all his Thor shit. But we don't want to see Black Panther do Black Panther shit. He's not just a fucking politician. In the same way Iron Man isn't just an inventor. Like, if the whole Iron Man movies was him building the suit and then never actually using the fucking thing, pretty fucking pointless and a letdown of a movie. Like, climax to null. But not only do you get to see what he made, you then get to see the upgraded armor, that, like, the Iron Man Mark II. The legit, like, or 3, or whatever the hell it is. The red and gold I am Iron Man armor. We got to see T'Challa fight as T'Challa, with no powers or anything like that, or suit. We got to see him in his normal suit fighting. Then I want to see him in his newer, better, kick-ass suit, beating the out of fools. I don't know why I bleeped shit when I've said fuck, and I think I even said cunt, God knows how many times. Cunt, shit, fuck, piss. And there you go, can't get adverts. Oh well. I shouldn't have done that, I really want adverts. Not that I want adverts, but I need money. Alright? It's no secret. I could get a normal job, but I want a job doing what I love where I don't want to myself every time I'm in there. So even if it takes longer doing it this way, hey, the juice will be worth the squeeze. I lost my train of thought, which sucks because I was coming to a conclusion of the film. Oh, it's a perfect morsel of movie. Yeah, oh yeah, the fact that people complain there's like got all comic booky. Yeah, it did, and it should have, and it was awesome, and I'd love seeing him and Killmonger fight in their gold and purple Panther suits. It was kick the fuck ass, and the addition with Shuri when she hits the little bead, and then the magnet thing with the train disrupts their suit, so it's like kind of half peeling apart, half like peeling away, kind of like the Venom suit when it gets hit by sound. It was really cool. And like they're fighting and all this shit, and the skills and the conviction, and as each person's conviction changes and realizes the truth and all these kind of things, their ability to push the pace in the battle changes. It was class, man. What's wrong with you? What's wrong with you when you thought that was annoying? In that casino scene, bitchin'. Everything about that scene, bitchin'. I don't know why people get annoyed by that stuff. It blows my mind. It blows my mind. And it's upsetting, and people have to stop that. This is a kick-ass film with kick-ass characters. And just as much as I believe that people of Latin blood, the Latin culture in general, they just know how to party, man. They know how to... They are siesta, party-loving people. They just are. As a culture, black people are just smoother and cooler than other cultures. Latin people are better at parties than other cultures. I would maybe say that like Scandinavian, Viking, Anglo-Saxon, Celtic, like Germanic, are probably better at "Hearken the session!" Till like ungodly hours of the morning, where like no human should ingest that much alcohol. How are you standing? Oh, it's fine. Do you know what? Let's fucking walk to Malaga, Spain. I want to go to Spain. To Spain! And, they just walk and drink on the way. You're like, how like, how are they, you see the map across the world, and like, how are they doing this? And the Australians kind of share that as well. No one can do it better than us. Stoic unfazability over insurmountable Jesus. No one hacks that better than the Russians and the You know, any kind of like that kind of area around the place, like your Dagestanian and like even further down and everything like that, like Polish, it's down to Eastern European. Like it's you can't fuck with their ability to like not be phased by shit. It's crazy. Straight up like cultures that are just way better and like, ooh, even if you're skilled at fighting, I wouldn't fight them. Polynesian, any type of Polynesian-esque people, I avoid fighting, even if you know how to fight, because I take a person who knows how to fight and a Polynesian who doesn't, and I'd say the chances of that Polynesian fucking winning are extremely high. So if you by chance meet a Polynesian who knows how to fight, you and your mother and your grandmother and your family, like he'll hit you so hard it will affect your lineage, both backwards and forwards through time. So I wouldn't screw with them like that. Just don't. And yeah, so I have a firm belief that certain cultures have certain genetic traits that are born from just like there's different types of genes. There's epigenetic genes that's brought down from just standard consistency throughout the constant growth and reproduction and life cycles of people in a place in time in history on the world. And just as well as because of those circumstances, England ended up producing the best music. Latin people are just better at festivals and partying and getting you into the rhythm. Black people are cooler and smoother, and it's awesome. And what I loved about this movie and why it's cool and why I think I like it the most is I love art. I love aesthetics. I love seeing things I haven't seen before. And simply because it's not common, this aesthetic isn't common. It's often these, like Africa, when used by people in movies or even to show it, it's used as more of an impoverished kind of poor them kind of thing. This is celebrated, and I got to see aesthetics in characters, in costumes, in design, in color, in murals, in art that I don't usually see in films and most stuff, because it's just not A, done a lot, and B, it's not of the stuff that it's not done a lot in the stuff that I absorb. So I liked that it was. That's why I fucking loved Wonder Woman. So like, oh, this is rare. I don't see this stuff that much. And it's cool. If it wasn't cool, I would be like, oh, this is shit. Well, at least it's new, I suppose. At least it's refreshing. It's different. Meh, I suppose. Whatever. It's kind of like that about Zack Snyder. I'm like, well, it's not right. It's not good. But it's different. And I gotta give him that. It's fair. But this is good and different. So to me, it just really stands out. It's like, what makes it stand out? Is it because it's black? No. It stands out because that kind of aesthetic that's associated with Africa and that culture isn't really used a lot in movies and isn't done correctly or in movies or right. And maybe, I venture a guess, when it is done, isn't even really done by the people who have a connection to it. So that's why it probably stands out as much as it does. And yeah, it stands out and it's cool. It's deadly. Like when you see cloaks and garbs like Wakabi and what is Forrest Whitaker's character's name? Why do I keep closing that IMDb? What is wrong with me? The longest film review in history, done by me. Yeah, I can't keep things short, folks. It's an impossibility. I have to have someone be like, cut. Forrest Whitaker. Oh, and John Kanai. Man, as T'Chaka, talk about a guy I just wanted to hug every time he was on film. Nothing to do with the dad thing, just he has that face of this really lovely, nice man, dad guy. I know it's a dad, and it's like, whoa, hey. No, but there's something about his face. It's like, what's his name? James Earl Jones and John Goodman. I'm sorry, I know people might be like, John Goodman, he plays a lot of weird. No, John Goodman, he has this face that I'm like, I want to give you a hug. I just want to give you a hug. Can I give you a hug? Thanks. I'll go. I'll leave. But like after, like, can I just give you a hug? 3 second, 1, 2, 3. Okay. I don't know. He just has that nice face. And Zuri. Two of them have cloaks. Now, like, kind of, not cloaks, but like garments that overflow kind of thing. Like, so fucking different. So violently different. I can imagine when you do things like that, usually you don't pay attention to that shit. You're like, these people will have cloaks. Done. You know what I mean? And that's it. This is general material. But everything is so, like, the costumes. Man, the costumes, there's so much detail. Everyone has got their own original niche to the costumes. The shields of Wakabi's tribe that are actually their cloaks that they use around them, but they end up becoming like the Praetorian stock massive shields, so they can do the phalanx and come in closer and closer. The armored rhinos, like everything about it. Dude, it's just awesome. It's just awesome. Would have rathered if Shuri's hands could actually be out of the gauntlet kind of things, and the gauntlet things that fired were either on top as like rocket wrist bullet things, or the mouth was there but it converged around the center where her hand is, kind of like Iron Man thing, and it went out like that, but she could still use it as a normal hand. But when she wanted to, it like the suit, like the Black Panther suit, it kind of comes over and she can go like that, and then when she wants to use her hands again to use a computer, it goes and like kind of resides back, and she can like use a keyboard or whatever it is she's doing, because she's a hacker and shit. She's an inventor. She's I would reckon to say she's a better scientist and a better engineer than Peter Parker, but I'd say she's probably on par with Tony. But I reckon Tony knows kind of things just from his experience of his kind of quirky way of looking at things that she hasn't seen before. But I also think that she has the exact same things of ways of seeing shit and little things she's figured out because of her quirkiness that Tony has never seen before. But I would definitely put her on par in regards to, you know, ability as an inventor and scientist as Tony. I wonder if she is one of those things where Tony would like work with her and everything like that and be like, oh my god, you're at the level of me now at this age. You're going to be better, way better than me at this when you're my age. And Spider-Man has the whole thing of, you could be this good if this was your 100% hobby and 100% time was to this, but it's not. But you are good enough and you keep it up enough that when it's necessary, you can call upon that skill in ways that other people can't really. But it's not at the same. There's levels to these games, to anything. There's levels to anything, and it's not on the level of Shuri, not at all. I like the fact that Black Panther doesn't really know how any of it works. Like he knows the principle of it, but he's in no way as intellectually capable of the techniques, the technicalities and inner workings of the stuff that he uses, that Shuri designs, which I think is cool. And I know it hasn't happened, and I don't know if it is going to happen, and I really hope that they somehow, I don't know how they're going to do this with Robert Downey Jr., because I don't know what to do with the contract, and Reed Richards isn't here, but God, if there's an Illuminati and Robert Downey Jr. isn't the Iron Man in the Illuminati, I'm going to be really pissed off. And if Chadwick Boseman isn't, I'm going to be really pissed off. I could go either way with Benedict Cumberbatch. I believe that there's other people who could have done the role just as well. Not that he doesn't do a good job, but I would like to see maybe Jake Gyllenhaal. I don't know, it might have been a good Doctor Strange. But whatever. See, no. Tom Hiddleston would actually be a very good Doctor Strange, but there you go. But yeah, God, I want them to do something with the Illuminati, but they can't. It won't be too much later. I would like them to do a Illuminati that they're not set up as the Illuminati, but like it's how they meet Reed Richards, and they meet Reed Richards as someone on another Earth when they realize that Secret Wars is happening and the worlds are collapsing into each other. And then they meet this Reed Richards who's like, I'm monitoring from my end. And then, they come through and essentially we're left with what the the MCU should have been if these other companies didn't have the rights to them and just do it that way. But the problem is that if that does happen, it's not going to happen for such a long time that they will have to have been a new Iron Man. So it can't be Robert Downey Jr. unless in the new... you can say in the other Earth, it's always been Robert Downey Jr. and he comes back and does Iron Man again. But does he want to do Iron Man? And what's he going to do? I don't think he cares. I'd say he'd do it if they have the money for it. But yeah, either way, there is... because of this guy... no, here we go. Because of this guy, there is so much more cool shit that's going to open up in this universe. And thank you. Thank you for giving me maybe the most in-depth, layered, seasoned, flavored meal, dinner, roast of not a roast, no, like proper, like 5-star Michelin restaurant meal of a movie in Black Panther. Thank you to Ryan Coogler. Thank you to Joe Robert Cole. And I'm gonna do it, dudes, ladies, gals, peeps. Thank you, Chadwick Boseman. Thank you, Michael B. Jordan. Thank you, Lupita Nyong'o. Thank you, Thank you, Denai Guerrera. Thank you, Martin Freeman. Thank you, Daniel Kaluuya. Woo! Daniels. Thank you, Letitia Wright. Thank you, Winston Duke. Thank you, Sterling K. Brown. Thank you, Angela Bassett. Thank you, Forrest Whitaker. Thank you, Andy Serkis. Thank you, Florence Kasuma. Thank you, John Kai. Thank you, David S. Lee. Am I missing anyone else? I'm not going to go through every fucking character, but just the main ones. Linda? Who the hell is Linda? Oh yeah, you know the Black Panther movie? You know that, Linda! Hey, Linda! Pfft. Sorry, Navaya B, but I don't know who Linda is. I'm sorry. Linda? What the fuck? Thank you. Thank you, Stan Lee. Thank you, Jack Kirby. Thank you, Kevin Feige. Probably said already. Thank you, Ryan Coogler. I can't wait to go back and watch this again and again and again and again because there's so much in it. There's so much to appreciate. And when a time is done, it's like, woo! Wow! That was emotional. That was eventful. That was impacting. That was cathartic. That was cozy or like something, I don't know, but I now need to, it's like when I watch fights, like you watch the fight and like, whoa, I experienced that fight, holy shit, but then you want to go back and see the fight play out and properly look at what each person's doing and how it gets from A to B level in the fight and how the person gets from, well, people starting off the fight on even kill and then the other person starting to win until they get to the point where they get that finish. And you want to see how the characters in this movie progress and how what you're seeing in the movie, the first time you watch it, is it echoed back that you can actually see it being planted earlier. So you're like, yes, it really did impact this stuff because it was meant to be a part of the film. And I want to see if my idea about unity is right or if I was wrong and it literally is meant to reflect the left and the right wing in America. I don't know. I don't think it is. But it's beautiful. It's fantastic. I can't wait for another Black Panther. I can't wait to see these people in these characters like merged into the new universe. It is 2 months? No. Oh my god. Holy shit. February, March, April. 4th of May. It's less than 3 months. Infinity War. Oh, fuck yes. Oh, man. Oh, I can't wait to see them fight side by side. It's going to be so good. Can't wait to see. I'll be blown away by the tech as well. This movie's amazing. I can't give it 10 out of 10. Oh, by the way, the soundtrack. On point. 100% on point. Kendrick Lamar and the rest. We call that Bula Bus. Bula Bus is fucking round of applause. Get those fucking hands out clapping. I'm sorry to do this because that's my snooty, snobby Oscar clap. I meant like just that you know, that face and that just. There's always one of those guys in one of those patriot movies, like some guy says a speech and like, yeah, and we gotta rise up, yeah, and America because red, white, and blue, yeah, that's the truth. You know what I mean? So, no, but I feel that for that reason, because just Kendrick Lamar, just woven with the score and with his shit, and it just on point. However, and it's not necessarily the movie's fault, as it is the marketing and the suits and everything behind it, but they lean so heavily with Run the Jewels. And there were so many different campaigns that Run the Jewels did, tweetstagrams. The fuck, Dan? Wow, you're not even old, but you've just literally sounded old now. With your tweetstagrams and your social book faces. But like their Instagrams and their tweets and everything like that, like there was serious advertising and pushing with RTJ, Run the Jewels, Wakanda Forever, Black Panther, Step into the Spotlight. I even remember seeing like a Run the Jewels fist and chain and gun, and the chain is the Black Panther chain. It was really awesome and it was really cool, and I think it definitely helped get traction for that film. There is not a single hint at all in the entire film to any Run the Jewels. Music, score, words, lyrics, characters, nothing. I'm a stickler for music in movies and TV shows. So if you're going to try and bring me to watch something based off the aesthetic and atmosphere from the music, and it's not just, oh, we had this song in the trailer. Yeah, you did the trailer for Thor with the Immigrant Song. Immigrant Song is in Thor. You had this metal vibe and all this. You had this step into the spotlight mentality and bringing Wakanda into the open. You had Run the Jewels just smeared with it, and not once is it even like mentioned in the film or anything at all. That was kind of annoying. To be honest, that annoyed me, and I wasn't. Although it's not the movie's fault, it is in regards to the experience, the overall experience. Is you lied, and that's annoying. I would have gone to see this movie with the Kendrick Lamar music. I would have gone to see this movie with just standard Marvel score in the trailer. It wouldn't have mattered. But you coaxed me in further by putting one of the best hip hop shit right now that's out there. Like, Kendrick Lamar is one of the best artist producers, but people can go either way on some of his more deeper tracks on his albums. Run the Jewels, for the most part, is very. God, I'm so glad to hear just decent hip hop again. You know what I mean? Like, it's been so long and it's been manufactured so much recently. It's really cool to hear raw. Bullshit is finished today. You know what I mean? Hear what I say. We are the business today. Bullshit is finished today. And it was refreshing and it was cool, and it kind of really leans in and ties into the idea of, you know, that movie, and it's nowhere in it. So that kind of fucking annoyed me. Because I'm a stickler for music, and I'm a stickler to advertising and lying, like just blatantly lying in your advertisement. But that's why I can't give it 10 out of 10. And as far as just the movie itself, it's a 10 out of 10 movie. But the experience of the whole thing that was, you know, Black Panther, and which I think overall, when I rate movies, I like to do that with every movie, because advertising is such a thing. It's very big, and with Twitter and with Instagram and all these little things that you can do, it's kind of become a little extra expected part of the overall experience that you're supposed to do right. And if you don't, it's like, shame on you, you didn't have to do it like that. You know what I mean? But you chose to, so you have to do it in the right way. But other than that, you're a fool if you don't see this movie. You're saying more about yourself than about the movie if you come back going, oh my god, I didn't know that people in Africa were so proud and not poor. You know what I mean? And it's so glad that we can see that and that's shown to us. It's like, keep those thoughts in your head. That says a lot more about you. Once again, surprised how much of those kind of responses and stuff where it's like, that's not supposed to be your takeaway. That's shh, don't do it. You know what I mean? So try not to go in with that notion if you've heard that that's what that movie's about. No, it's not. Don't come in with it with a lens. Just go into it going, I'm watching a comic book movie. I hope it's got substance and I can like the characters and relate to the struggles. That's it. Just go into it hoping that. Hope as much as you want and expect that. To the highest expectation. As long as that's what you're going in for, you will fucking be blown away. It is wicked awesome. I probably spoiled a shitload if you haven't watched it already. But I said at the beginning, spoilers, and some people like to hear good, meaty fucking talk about a movie before seeing it. And I did try my best not to really break down all the individual scenes and big, holy shit, fuck yeah, moments, you know? So, anyway, I hope you enjoyed it. Thank you for listening to me. I don't know if I'm going to be able to do the standard videos that people do. I don't know how I can make myself shorter until I learn to edit videos, and then I'll leave videos like this, and then maybe I'll do a spoiler-free reviews and I'll make them short and small and edit them. But for the spoiler ones, it's usually people who want to get in deep and want to hear the opinions and all that kind of stuff, so I might leave that the way it is. But for the moment, it's ridiculously long. And I will leave you with this and ask you to please like and subscribe. It means a lot to me. It will be huge for me, and it means that we can chat and you can tell me things and tell me about your opinion and tell me what you want to see on this channel, what you want me to talk about more. If I went into a weird rabbit hole, you're like, oh no, talk about that more. You fucking say weird, stupid, funny shit when you do that. You get really aggravated or whatever. Go into that. Or, oh, I liked what you said about that. Go do more things on that. Let me know. Or if you're like, please don't speak on behalf of this again because you're not able to, it's not your wheelhouse, then cool, I'll try my best to listen to that as well. But yeah, I want to talk to you, I want to chat to you, because it's we can I don't want to just create content because I just have shit to say. I do have shit to say, and that will be one of the main cornerstones or driving forces why I create content. But I would also like to make sure that I'm creating the kind of content, curating it where it's still me and I'm not compromising for other people, but where I at least have a better idea as to know what people would like to hear me talk about. as opposed to me just picking off random. Plus, it'll also be easier for me to kind of hone my thoughts more as well, as opposed to being so vague or all around the place. Not vague actually, but just all around the place with no real pattern, but hopefully somehow coming back full circle in the end. So yeah, please, I'll say again, like and subscribe. I would appreciate it a lot. It would help me out a great deal. That photo that you were looking at, that badass art, and the graphic design you're looking at is art by Boss Logic, who is one of my peers, idols. What's the word? You have your... Is it an idol? No, it's not an idol. Someone look up to, whatever that is, because it's not an idol, but someone I look up to, and who I hope to be like my version of my art level of that good someday. And also, I like his art because I really do like lighting effects. I just find beautiful, and be able to do that shit in Photoshop, and allowing digital art to come more into comic books has given some of that gorgeous light that you find a lot in anime, and it's just beautiful. Boss Logic is maybe one of the best in the world at it. So go to his site, check out his shit. You can buy class clothes like t-shirts, caps. Like this isn't one of his cap, but this style cap, with his art on it. Like he's great. He's great, and for the most part, if you've seen a lot of like Instagrams and stuff of actors and whatever for movies, and they have these really cool pictures that are kind of reminiscent of this art style, it's probably Boss Logic stuff that they're retweeting. Also, if you're a fan of UFC, type in Boss Logic MMA or UFC. He has some class shit. Valentina Shevchenko, the bullet, he's got a brilliant one of him. His stuff of Mayweather and McGregor, although a bit of a fallacy to the greatness, to the thing that is MMA, considering how much is the after fact money fights are lingered now, and it's destroying some of the actual proper purity of the sport. But nevertheless, the art that he does with that is awesome. Just go check his shit out. It's class. It's class. Right. Thank you. I have been Dan the Mexican. I have been going on for ages. Thank you for listening to me. Peace. Oh, make sure to check out Black Panther as soon as you can. Wakanda forever, motherfuckers.